Welcome back to another episode of The Driver's Briefing, an F1 podcast in which we attempt to sound smart by giving our takes on everything happening inside and out of the paddock. I don't know how successful we've been, but we've tried.
Definitely.
It's race week. The summer break is over. We're traveling back to Stavelot, Belgium, to race at Circuit de Spa and Monaco. My best French accent. One of the most iconic circuits on the I know, I should be a TV announcer. Yeah. One of the most iconic circuits on the calendar that might not be there for long. You know.
So, yeah, it's been a long summer break. Definitely missed race week, and I'm happy that we finally get a race this weekend. It's one of the most popular and historical races in the calendar. You mentioned it's going to be probably replaced, maybe erased completely from the calendar. There's been a lot of controversy surrounding the circuit lately, it being too dangerous, it being tons of stuff, and
just not being exciting enough. That's what people say. I don't agree with it, but
I mean, I think historically it's one of the races that just you can sit and watch highlights from past races and have a ton of fun. You know, we've had great moments. Charles's win, 2019, and then the iconic "Here Comes Sebastian Vettel" commentary.
And most recently, a magnificent podium by Williams.
Yeah, a half podium.
A half podium. Still counts. He stood on the top step, not on the top step.
No,
but he stood in second place.
Was Gasly's first win in Spa, or was it in... No, that was Charles. Gasly won in... Where did he win with his AlphaTauri? Monza?
I think so.
I don't remember, honestly.
Yeah. Anyway.
True Formula One fans here.
Yeah. Georgie Russell, after having qualified in second place in a wet qualifying last year, ends up, the race never starts because it's just downpouring, and so essentially he gets a free second place. His first podium.
Last year's race was one of the
incredibly
craziest,
exciting.
Yeah, one of the craziest races I think I've ever seen in my life. Staying from the fact that it wasn't even a race. I think the qualifying was probably one of the most entertaining qualifyings. However, the race, I was just sitting for 5 hours in front of my television waiting for it to start.
Waiting for something to happen.
Yeah, so that was heartbreaking. Truly heartbreaking. Still, I was happy for George. I don't think that second place would have come if the race would have started.
Oh, no, of course not.
But he definitely... He earned it. He put his Williams up there. He had a hell of a lap in the qualifying, so I think that was great, and all merit to him, you know. And he's been showing what he can do with a great car this year. So,
do you think he can end up on the podium this year?
Definitely. I think he could definitely be fighting for the podium. I think both Mercedes are going to be fighting for the podium places this weekend. It's going to be an interesting race. Mercedes is coming in with a lot of consistency in the last couple of races. I think they had a lot of momentum going in their favor. I don't know how the summer breaks affected that. But if they can keep their momentum, then it's definitely going to be a tight fight between the Ferraris and the Mercedes. I think that Ferrari, they've had a couple weeks to maybe think about how they've been doing things. I mean, knock themselves in the head a couple times and try to re-strategize their season, but we'll see how it goes. You know, I'm excited for the race.
Yeah, me too. It's always a great race. It's the longest track on the calendar, and it has such amazing turns. I mean, obviously, Eau Rouge, the site of numerous, possibly unlimited replays when I play the F1 video game. I just can't seem to get that turn right. And a lot of drivers can't seem to get that button. Yeah. A lot of people in real life can't seem to get that turn, right either. So at least
I remember
I
last
got that
year,
going for me.
I think there was this clip that ran around last year of the a W Series accident where it was just like 10 cars in a row straight into the wall at Eau Rouge. So that was
that would have been me also in the video game.
Yeah, probably. And then Lando's shunt into the wall also last year. That was that was kind of scary, but he was all right.
Well, that's also where Antoine Hubert died. I butchered his name there. But he also died in that turn. I think that's a very dangerous turn because it's an uphill, left, right, left with a blind peak, right? And so you really don't know where you're going. It's flat out, but at the same time, you don't know what's going on ahead of you over the top of the curve. So
doesn't help when it's raining like it was last year. I don't even know if that was raining or it was just a full-on monsoon, whatever the fuck those are called.
I'm sure the drivers, like, once they get past that turn, they're like, all right, we could just finish the lap. But it's like
they just have to get around the turn
scary,
50 times.
Jesus Christ, it's scary as fuck.
Yeah, it is scary. But do you think it's scary enough to be removed from the F1 calendar? I think there are worse circuits on the calendar, more dangerous circuits on the calendar.
Yeah, I think so. I don't think safety should be an issue. So my understanding is the reason why Spa is even being considered to be removed with it, which I think would be a terrible mistake. And Spa has had a race every year since '85.
Yeah.
Except barring a couple of years, I think 2003 and 2006. 2003, it was literally because it was around the year where you can no longer like advertise tobacco companies on cars, and Belgium had was going through some sort of like law. They were deliberating the laws around tobacco advertising and stuff, and literally because of that, Spa couldn't have a race. But outside of that, and something in 2006, it's had a race every year, and it's always been like a staple on the calendar. It was on the calendar the first year of Formula One in 1950, so it would be a shame. Honestly, with the new owners, Liberty Media, Formula One's new owners, they're doing a lot of things right. They're bringing a lot of fans to the sport, but in their events, and I think they've been very successful in doing so, they've always want to have like action-packed weekends outside of racing, whether it be through fan festivals, whether it be concerts, etc. And
it's Americanized. I think it's a very
it's what you would see in
big part of American
games
culture, tailgates, stuff like that. Yeah,
and so Spa doesn't really have that. Spa's in the middle of nowhere, right? You go to the circuit, you're going there to go to the race, and that's it. You come back. There's not even there's a few grandstands, but a lot of people sit on the grass like throughout the circuits in the middle of the forest, right? And so I think in that sense, it's not quite tailored to the kind of forums or the events that Liberty Media want to have. It doesn't have the space to do a fan festival, etc. So they're trying to do something like that this year, though. They're trying to Americanize it a little bit in their.
I mean, there are a couple races that are like that. I think the Red Bull Ring in Austria is also kind of secluded. But yeah, and to your point, speaking of like the differences between the Grand Prix weekends. So I was in Austin for the American Grand Prix last year, 2021. Yeah, and I've been to a couple Grand Prix. I've been to the one in Mexico. I've been to the Red Bull Ring. And it's a completely different experience going to a Grand Prix in the US. It's almost like the race is sort of like a feature of a huge festival. It's not really focused on the race and the racing and the drivers. It's just full of concerts and people and shows and entertainment and food. And I mean, I had a great time. It was amazing. And I think Americans, in the world, they're the best at entertainment. Like, they have WWE, they have all the sports shows, they have everything they do is entertainment. So, I believe Liberty Media is trying to make Formula One, that is classical sport that's never really been seen as the most entertaining sport in the world. It's now trying to dramatize it a little, and they're doing all of these shows around their events, and they're doing the Netflix special, The Drive to Survive, which gets you to delve a little bit deeper into the drama and makes it like a reality show, stuff like that. That, I mean, you can tell by the results. People are loving it. People are watching a shit ton more Formula One than people were a couple of years ago. So, business-wise, I think they're doing great. And I love to see more people getting into the sport. It's always great.
But it's a shame to see Spa being a casualty of this shift, because they've done a great job. I agree, and under the previous management, Formula One was very enclosed, and it was very closed off to it was very tailored to kind of older men, and it was like very elitist, older moneyed men. It was very elitist, right? Now with the new owners, Liberty Media have done a great job of educating people on a sport while, to your point, upping the entertainment and building whole events around it. Something Americans do the best anywhere in the world. But at the same time, you have to strike a balance where, you know, to your point, you go to Austin, it's like five concerts, and one race, one qualifying. You know, in Europe, it's completely different with these races. They just have a different vibe, and they tailor these different events tailored to different audiences, right? You might go to the one in Austin, you might see a different crowd. You might go to Belgium, it's a fully different crowd than what you would see in Monaco, right? And I think there's some value in that.
Yeah, definitely. I think, exactly. I think this new ownership of Formula One is trying to tailor the events to a younger audience. I think through Netflix, through what they're doing with different Grand Prix, they're definitely attempting to get younger people involved in Formula One, because traditionally it's been a very enclosed sport, as you said, with a lot of culture and a lot of tradition. You know, it's sort of like golf in a sense, I believe. I think, and also it's a very elitist sport. You know, just the 1% of the world has access to go-karts and karting and racing, and so it's not really that relatable in a sense, because you don't really get to drive cars like that.
Yeah, it's not like you watch golf and you're like, all right, let me go to the driving range, hit some balls.
Yeah,
feel like it's call Morikawa or something.
Exactly. So I think that
Liberty
the
video
Media,
game
to try to kind of fix that in a sense, they did it and made it more dramatized, more entertaining. So they made the drivers more relatable, more approachable, and that's made younger people be able to relate. I think that's exactly why drivers like Lando Norris have become very popular, because he's a young kid, and I think a lot of young people can relate to him, stuff like that. So yeah, I don't think it's bad. I think Monaco's suffering some of the same criticism as Spa. A lot of people were saying that the Monaco Grand Prix is really just it doesn't even serve a purpose, because it's a boring race, because it's whatever. I personally love Monaco. I think it's the highest like manifestation of racing in the world. I think it's not necessarily a track where you can overtake, but it is a track that the drivers have to give 100% of their capacity as a driver.
The thing is about Monaco, I will say it's not an exciting race to watch because there's not a lot of overtakes. But once you understand the mental fitness that these guys have to be able to circle 50, 60 laps around that street circuit where you put a foot wrong, you know, and you're in the wall.
Yeah.
Like, that's amazing.
I find it incredibly amazing. I think moving forward, I hope moving forward that what Liberty Media attempts to do is sort of find a balance between races that attract the traditional Formula One fan, the old Formula One fan that likes to see long-term races and famous circuits and great drivers and great names. And then also they make space with new tracks for a younger audience and events and concerts and whatever. I think they did that with Miami, for example. I think the Miami race, the Miami circuit's blah, you know, like it's not really a great circuit.
I like it.
And I mean, it's whatever. But
the event around it, the excitement. I live in Miami, and the excitement around it was like paramount. You know,
exactly.
Everyone.
So what calls you about the Miami Grand Prix isn't the race itself. It's in a stadium, and you got the concerts, and you got the boats, and you got like so much.
I didn't want to go because there was a lot of traffic to get there.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. But I mean, the event was amazing. The event
was amazing.
Whatever, you know. And I think...
Well, I mean, I think to your point there, I mean, you know, they have Las Vegas as announced for 2023, right? That's going to be the epitome of American entertainment, or the prototype of American entertainment. And if that's the race that's actually replacing Spa, and that tells you a lot about the direction in which Liberty Media is going,
Yeah.
right? Is there room for both Las Vegas and Spa? I would hope so, because in that sense, you're kind of tailoring to both types of fans.
Exactly.
Right?
I think, in my opinion, that's what should happen. I don't have anything against the Las Vegas race. I don't have anything against 3 American races, because I understand what Liberty Media is doing. The U.S. market is huge, and business-wise, I think getting Americans interested in Formula One will be the best business decision that Liberty Media can take. We talked about them trying to have an American driver, and I think an American driver would do wonders for Formula One in terms of as a business decision. So I think I think Las Vegas will be amazing. If I can go to the race, I'd love to go to that race. It's probably going to be expensive as fuck, but I mean, it's going to be the craziest event.
Vegas.
Like, you can't deny that the Las Vegas race isn't going to be insane, you know.
But the Las Vegas race is going to be just like Miami.
It's not even going to be a race. You
where it's going to be everything but a race.
Yeah. It's just going to be the Las Vegas weekend, but
you won't even make it to the race the next day because you'll be having the casino all day.
You probably won't even remember the race. Yeah,
exactly.
But for the people that go there, it's probably going to be a hell of a weekend, you know.
And I will say, it's going to be very cool to see the cars going by, and you see like the lights, all the lights.
The Las Vegas Strip, I think it's going to make a great picture. You know, all the cars racing down one of the most famous streets in the U.S. I think that's awesome, and I don't think new races ever hurt. If it replaces Spa, that's going to be kind of sad.
Because the other thing, so in a perfect world, no one would replace anyone, right? And they also want to bring in South Africa into the mix and other, touch other continents there to kind of get that audience back. But at the same time, you have 24 races out of 52 weeks of the year.
Yeah. When is
it too much?
Yeah, exactly. When is it too much? And I think the races are, you can tell with double or triple headers. That drivers
the team
they can end up exhausted, and
the drivers and the
for the teams it's very hard, So yeah, I don't think
half
adding
of
more
races, being away from your family too.
Exactly, but I think there are lots of races way less entertaining than Spa that can be replaced, But I like a couple of the new races they're adding. It's a lot of street circuits, which I'm not really that much of a fan of, but. For example,
are you a more like actual circuit?
Yeah, I definitely like circuits more. However, my favorite race is Baku, which is a street race. But
is that just because Checo's been successful there, or why?
No, just as a race, I think it's awesome because it has a mix of really tight corners where you can see the actual talent from the drivers, and then very long and wide straights where there's a lot of overtaking. So I think it's a great mix of everything. And also Checo's really good there.
The castle section of the video game is also very tough, I will say.
It's so tough. And then, for example, Jeddah, when it was added,
cool, man.
When it was added to the circuit, I was against it. And man, it's one of the craziest both races there have been completely awesome. And the driving there is insane. Like, I don't remember if it was this year or last year. I think it was last year at the first race where Max was scoring one of the craziest quality laps ever. And then in the last corner, he went into the wall. He just barely touched the wall, and it fucked up his lap.
That was the epitome of like the Max Lewis rivalry. That was like 1 or 2 races before Abu Dhabi.
Crazy.
Remember when they were going like side by side and they wanted to overtake, but they wouldn't overtake because they had to get to the DRS line behind the others.
Yeah, and then all the drama with Max slamming into Lewis from behind because they didn't know he was slowing, and oh my god, it was crazy. It was amazing. And then Leclerc shunted into Checo, and yeah,
no, it was Lewis into Max and Leclerc into Checo. That's right.
Yeah, Leclerc into Checo. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that race was crazy. There was like 4 red flags. And then Esteban Ocon was at some point fighting for the lead.
Yeah. I don't know. I haven't heard. I think Liberty Media has brought in very exciting circuits. I haven't seen the same criticism that for example Live Golf has had in terms of like Saudi backing with Aramco and all that stuff.
Live Golf. I've seen a lot of criticism on Live Golf, but I haven't seen events. Formula One. Have you watched the actual tournaments and the events?
No, the good players still play on the tour. and I'm not
But
gonna watch.
they've made it very entertaining. Like they have
I'm
like
sure.
teams and different dynamics, and
Sure,
it's the same thing. They're trying to.
be.
Yeah, but now you
I'm
sound
a traditionalist.
Like
I'm a traditionalist.
Now you sound like a 70-year-old. Like they're trying to appeal to a younger audience and to get more people involved. And I think if you don't want the sport to die, you have to get with the program, man.
And
I
I
think Liberty Media knows that. Yeah.
Yeah, they honestly, this has been a phenomenal investment for them. By the time when they decide to sell, if they decide to sell, the business they bought was in ruin, not in ruins, but they've multiplied
been
value.
insane. Yeah.
It's crazy, but I don't know, man. I think what they're doing for the sport is great, and we've said it, and we'll repeat it, and we'll sound like broken.
There's a lot of hate. There's a lot of hate on Americans. Usually I find Americans insane. For me, they're like another species completely. They're crazy. But Liberty Media has done a good job, I think.
Yeah, but I don't want to traditionally. I mean, I would want to see the traditional circuit stay.
Yeah, no, of course. But traditionally, when Americans get involved in international sports, it doesn't really go well.
Yeah,
you can tell with them. I can tell you a couple soccer teams or football teams that are owned by American owners that they're not doing well. But this has been good. I think if they manage to keep a balance and they can keep traditional Formula One fans happy with races like Monaco, with races like Spa.
I don't want to be a pessimist though, because Spa, like if you think about Monaco and Monaco, I would have put Spa as one of the untouchables next to Monaco, and the fact that it's even being considered to be,
that they're both being
removed.
Considered.
Oh, is Monaco also? Because I was about to say,
I during the Monaco Grand Prix, I saw so many tweets and Reddit and people being like, "Nah, this circuit's so stupid. It's dangerous. It's boring."
That's why it's important for people to understand like these traditional circuits.
But the
whole influx of Drive to Survive fans coming in has been great. But at the same time, you have to understand the history of the sport. You have to understand the history of these circuits.
Yeah,
and it's more so than just a bunch of fast cars going around in circles. I don't understand the skill and the fitness that's needed.
That's called NASCAR.
Which Raikkonen is competing in the Cup Series. Did you see?
I didn't. That's awesome.
Yeah, he's like, yeah. He's I woke up to NASCAR Twitter this morning, and he's racing for like a car is that made by Project
awesome,
91 or something.
I love Kimi.
Kimi's one of those characters that people would say, when he retires, he's never coming back, and he never came back to Formula One, and I don't see him ever coming back to Formula One as a team principal, even as just like a personality who's there walking around the paddock. Like I think he's done with that part of his life.
Yeah, it was great while he was here.
It was great, the Iceman. But anyway, going back to what I was saying. I mean, Formula One is much more than just cars going around in circles. And these tracks, whether they have history or whether they just challenge drivers, they deserve a place in the calendar, right? It would be terrible to see Monaco. Monaco is synonymous with Formula One, right? It's the utmost. It's the highest honor. Beyond winning a championship that a driver can have, is winning Monaco. And so, just because there's not a lot of overtaking and the race itself could be visually pretty boring, especially if you don't understand the sport, I get it. But at the same time, you can't have Formula One with no Monaco.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I think it's, as you say, it's been a lot of...
I've never been there. I've never been there in person. I want to go and,
I've been to Monaco. I didn't...
Have you been to the race?
No. I wasn't there.
Okay,
I went and visited the city, and it's crazy. Like it's...
Yeah, I want to go during the race weekend, It's like all the glamour, all the superstars, etc. It'd be pretty cool. Mm-hmm. It's and Spa, I mean, is less glamorous, but it's just racing. It's where you go. It's a track that castigates you if you don't do well, right? And that's like, it's an old fashioned circuit, and I think it's great racing. And so I don't know, man. I'd rather have Spa than have like the next race in like New York or something.
I mean, a New York race would be, I don't know. No more street.
It'd probably be in Brooklyn. It probably wouldn't even be in New York. It'd probably be in Brooklyn.
You couldn't have a race down Manhattan. Like, that just wouldn't ever work.
Yeah, plus the streets are shit, so.
Yeah. So, you want to talk about how you think the grid will line up this weekend. What are your thoughts?
So I'm struggling to think who will land on pole. I'm inclined to say Ferrari. With just one lap, they're the quickest cars.
Yeah.
You have good.
I wouldn't be surprised by
medium speed turns too.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised by a quick pole.
I would expect a Leclerc pole.
Not a win though.
Not a win. Max will win.
Probably.
I think beyond this race, I think just Max is going to have an early title. It'll come earlier in the season than obviously earlier than last year.
The earlier it comes, the better it'll be for Checo.
Yeah, agreed. I don't know, man. In terms of placing the 20 drivers, it's too early to tell. I haven't even seen practice. This will be we're filming this on a Sunday. It'll come out on a Monday, but I would expect very much the same trend. I would expect the Ferraris to be quickest on Saturday, the Red Bulls to be quickest on Sundays, and with the Mercedes right there, places. Man. Yeah,
I think Lewis will get on the podium. There's a clip I always see on TikTok of, I think it was the 2019 Mercedes, just going around in Spa. Man, that car was just, or the 2020, was it a W? I don't remember. I think it was the 2020 Mercedes just going around the track, and it's insane, man. That thing was on reels, I don't know, like skates. Just went.
Nothing compared to the car this year. Which, by the way, did you see the FIA finally approved the new regulations for 2023 and beyond in terms of the porpoising and then also for the 2026 engines? Did you read about that?
Mm-hmm. I read about the 2026 engines, and I think Porsche has been teasing their return to Formula 1.
Yeah,
sense.
did you see that? Did you see they trademarked the word "finally" with a number 1?
Yeah, with the F1. Finally,
it's obvious. Like, it's not surprising. Okay. It's not surprising. In fact, it's taken them a long time.
Yeah, I don't think they'll have a team. They're probably going to join with Red Bull, sort of.
No, I think they'll have a team for 26. That's probably when they're gonna. I think so. But yeah.
Do you think that they'll purchase a team that's already on the grid, or they'll add a team? I'd love to see 11 teams on the grid.
Me too, but like Toto Wolff wouldn't. So, Formula 1 does what Toto Wolff wants. Except giving the championship. except last laps on at Abu Dhabi.
Exactly. Except letting some of the cars through and then not all the cars through in the last lap of the season.
That's the only time when they're like, "All right, Toto, chill out, dude."
No, Mikey. No. Oh, man.
But I don't know. The easiest path is obviously just buying out a team. We saw the resistance from current teams to admit an 11th team because it reduces.
I hate each that, of their. Man.
Yeah, it reduces each of their.
I'd love to see 22 drivers.
I would like to see an Andretti team.
Too little,
an American. I would like to see a better American team.
You're about to say just an American team, and then you realize that there's already an American/Russian team. It's not Russian anymore.
Well, we've cleansed it of the Russian spies.
Hey, I mean, it's done better without the Russians.
You imagine having the Russian money in right now would be. Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly why they kicked Mazepin out. It was because
it'd be so awkward
thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what's.
But no, Porsche. I don't know. Porsche will probably buy a team.
Yeah,
because Porsche wants to come in and Audi. Like the Volkswagen Group wants like Porsche and Audi in F1. You can't have 12
maybe
teams. You have to buy one of them.
Lawrence Stroll doesn't want to go through with his investment and sells Aston Martin.
Well, this would be 2026, so it'd be holding the team for what, like 6 or 7 years? The typical private equity.
3 years ago?
Holding?
4.
I don't know.
Whatever.
Between 5 and 7 years.
So my prediction
for good exit.
Yeah, my prediction for this weekend. Okay. So we're getting to the last part of the episode, last 10 minutes of the episode. So I'm going to give you some hot takes. Hot take for me this weekend.
Are your predictions going to be hot takes?
No. I probably think Max is going to take it, but what if Lewis wins?
Lewis will win.
What if Lewis takes his first victory of the season at Spa on the first race of the second half of the season? What would that mean for Ferrari? I'm just saying, man. Be a great narrative.
Oh, I'm sure it'd be a great narrative. Just like Nicholas Latifi winning Spa from pole would be a great narrative.
Not even close to the same. Not even close to the same.
You don't think Latifi has a chance of scoring some points this weekend?
I mean, I think he has a chance of scoring points every race, but I don't.
Just doesn't capitalize.
He has a chance. He doesn't have the ability, I guess, or the racecraft.
Oh, Nicky.
Oh man.
So you say Lewis wins?
I think he's going to be on the podium. He's got 5 podiums in a row. He's got a lot of momentum. Okay. He's coming back. He could
spend some time in Africa over the break.
You never know. He could win. It'd be awesome. Like,
I don't think
might look like a complete clown next week.
Or she'll just like crash out in the first lap.
Or you might be seeing this on TikTok with 100 million likes because I called it.
Yeah. And something so unbelievable. Yeah. They'll be the new F1 Oracle.
Yeah.
They'll come to you like the octopus from the 2010 World Cup.
Yeah.
Like
our 3 listeners will be very proud of us.
Yeah, exactly. No, we'll get some TikTok views. We'll get some views more.
Do you have any hot takes?
I don't think so. I think this race is going to be pretty straightforward. Well, I don't know. I can't say that. Every time something like Spa is such an eventful race that honestly, in a perfect world, Max wins. But
have you seen
honestly, anything can happen.
Have you seen the weather? The weather predictions.
I'm gonna get if it rains again in Spa, I'm gonna get PTSD. I won't even turn my TV on.
It's not even
Sunday.
In Spa anymore. Like for the last year, if it rains at any circuit, I'm like, okay, so we're not getting a race.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna rain. So
it's gonna rain. Really, it's gonna rain.
So we have. I'm looking at it right now.
On Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday. It's what time's the race? Like 3, 2, 3.
Yeah, probably.
It's like a 35% chance of rain during the day, during the afternoon.
I'm not too worried. I hope it doesn't rain. I hope it's a mixed race. That'd be cool.
And then on
if
Sunday,
you do like starts on dry, or
on Sunday it's a 45% chance of rain.
Yeah, I hope it's a mixed conditions race.
But that's cool. Good because it means that if it does rain, it won't be as hard. Last year it was just a flood. It's insane.
Yeah. That track really does not have good drainage.
I think the problem was actually that the new tires the new F1 tires, they're so big that they throw just huge amounts of water behind the car, and then the driver behind you can't see shit.
Yeah, that's always the case. Like you're driving in the blind. Like it'd be so scary. If I was an F1 driver,
I don't know how they do it, man.
Yeah, I would
Fucking
just
crazy.
like disqualify myself from all those wet races. Like you can drive fucking 300 miles an hour without seeing shit.
I mean, I don't think I'd have the balls to drive 300 miles an hour if it's raining or not.
Definitely not.
Like, I don't. Yeah.
It'd be fun to be in one of those like 2-person cars that Red Bull
like the
has
F1
to drive the people around.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Yeah. But like with someone who's licensed at the wheel. Yeah, fuck.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It'd be cool. I hope it's a mixed. I hope it's a mixed conditions race. Start on the dry, go over it wet. Those are always spicy.
Hey,
then that's situation maybe Lewis can win. Yeah, and that's Junior could win. But I don't know, man. I think it's too early to tell. We still have a week before we start seeing practice and stuff. Obviously, the next episode will be kind of a debrief on Spa and talk about it. Likely saying that you're a clown, saying that Lewis was going to win the race.
Or maybe I'm just going to be right, and then you're just going to have to deal with that for the rest of the season.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. It's I don't think I'm going to have to deal with that for the rest of the season.
Maybe. Yeah,
we'll see.
And then,
but
we have a double header, right? It's a triple header.
It's a triple header.
Spa, Sandford, and then
I don't like Zandvoort. See, Zandvoort's one of the tracks where I wouldn't mind.
And then Monza,
South Africa, and there, I love Monza. Yeah, it'll be good for if Verstappen win. Verstappen will win in Zandvoort. If you win, I mean, Verstappen has smooth sailing.
All
man.
right. I mean, I don't know why we even do predictions if you're just going to say Max is going to win every single race for the rest of the season.
That's a safe prediction.
Yeah, but it's. I mean, we need to be different than every other.
Let's do this
F1.
rather than predictions. Where would you like to see an F1 race?
Where would I like to see an F1
Yeah,
race?
if you were to pick the next race, where would you put it?
I mean, I'm thinking. Well, you say yours first, and then I'll go.
I probably somewhere in Asia.
In Asia.
Yeah. So we're so it wouldn't be new, but like for example, bringing Malaysia back. Malaysia was a great track. China's off the calendar again this year, I believe.
I'd like another race in Mexico.
Like where? Guadalajara,
Monterrey, Cancun. I don't know. There's a lot of
or it'd be cool. San Francisco would be cool, but then again, it's already too many. San Francisco
would be awesome.
But it's already too many U.S.
through the
races.
Golden Gate Bridge.
That'd be cool. Yeah, that'd be cool. But it's already too many races. You have to take out like Austin or something, which they never will.
Just might as well bring the whole calendar to the U.S.
Or might somewhere coastal.
Turn Formula One into IndyCar. Why not? Yeah.
I saw a comment the other day. I saw a comment the other day about, IndyCar drivers never being, not being up to par of Formula One drivers. What do you think of that?
I think it's different. Well, no, not really. I don't think it's different. I think it's the same thing. They're both open wheel based cars, racing series. But
they have different degrees of downforce. I mean, they're IndyCars. Yeah, IndyCar is definitely slower than Formula One.
IndyCar is kind of spec series. It's kind of like a spec series. Like all the cars are basically the same. I think there's two engines. I'm not really sure, but I don't know. I think there are great drivers in IndyCar, but we've seen Formula One drivers succeed in IndyCar. I think Marcus Ericsson has been doing really well.
The most recent example.
Yeah.
Yeah, but at the same time, like I wouldn't say, for example, I would disagree that it's and not with you, but just with a comment that those guys aren't good enough to compete in Formula One.
I don't know. I think for sure they are.
Colton or Pato wouldn't be able to.
We were talking about Colton Herta. I think they would definitely be great drivers in Formula One. Anyway, I think it's been a great episode. We'll see next week how my predictions lined up.
Next week we'll have some more substantial, kind of debrief from the race and talk about how you messed up.
I think today was just us talking a little bit about our opinions.
It's our last summer episode.
Yeah, right before we get into the thick of it. Next 9 races.
That's right. It'll be good. We had it easy these first 3 weeks of the podcast, and now we have to get on our shit and know what we're talking about.
Do our homework,
sound smart, be successful in sounding smart as we talk about the races.
Sounding smart. You'll see. I'm going to look smart. I'm going to look smart when Lewis wins. Spa. Anyway, thank you guys for listening. This has been the Driver's Briefing with Santiago and Francisco. It's been a pleasure.
As always, subscribe to our YouTube. Let us know in the comments where you're listening to us. Is it Spotify? Is it YouTube? We'd love to know. And also let us know where you would place.
Where would you guys have
a Formula One race if you were able to pick?
All right, guys.
See you guys next week. Talking about another Max win.